So next up is
Tigers of Tang, Wildcat.
Wildcat.
Oh my God, that cover's gorgeous.
Yep.
Isn't it?
Awesome.
And we got, this was their debut full length. They had a couple of singles out. The new wave of British heavy metal band that they were. This one is the original lineup. Rob Weir, Jess Cox on vocals. Yep. Big Dick. That'd be Brian Dick. on sticks, kicks, and a gong.
Not to be confused with Bruce Dick.
Right. This is Big Dick. Rocky on bass and vocals. So we got, this is classic new wave British heavy metal. Euthanasia, Slave to Freedom, Don't Touch Me There. That was one of their original singles. Money Killers, Fire Clown, Wildcats, the title track. Great.
And this is like what we were talking about earlier with the punk influence in the metal.
Yeah.
In the early '80s. I mean, especially because of the vocals.
Yeah.
Kind of like Paul Di'Anno. Just it gives it that kind of punk edge.
Not the most melodic guy, but
no,
he fit with what they were doing, and their stuff is kind of, they had very similar riffs that kind of flowed through the stuff, especially on this early stuff. But
a very edgy record.
It works.
And they never released another record that sounded quite like this one again.
Nope, because Jess was gone after this one. There's some bootlegs that came out, live stuff later, but this was pretty much the sum total of this band's work, other than the singles.
So there you have it. Tigers of Tang, 1980. All right. All right, what's up next? Oh, sticking with the new wave of British heavy metal. This is actually one picked by another VC member, LJ. Angel Witch.
Awesome.
I mean, this record shocked every parent in the world.
And this is almost progressive new wave of British heavy metal.
Yes.
I mean,
super catchy songs though, man.
Great harmonies, great arrangements, a little bit more refined than your typical new wave of British heavy metal band. Just great stuff.
Actually, they had a single release too. It might have been in the same year that it came out before this, which I really also like. Neither one of us have that.
Baphomet single?
I can't remember now.
Did they have the?
I just know I don't. Yes.
The Satan thing on.
I just know I don't have it. And
I don't either. I don't have this. I'd like it, but I don't have it.
Yeah, this was out of my collection. So, yeah, White Witch, probably one of their more. Wasn't White Witch on one of the real famous new wave of British heavy metal compilations?
Probably.
Yeah.
Confused is a great song.
Yep.
Gorgon.
Yep. Angel of
Death. Yeah. Great album.
And covers on all that. I mean, it's okay. Shrink it down to a CD size and it just becomes a big red blob.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I think it's cool. It's better than the Satan cover,
Yeah, it's great.
That picture hasn't been used very much.
Yeah, this thing's been used a million times over, So, but anyhow, Angel Witch, new wave of British heavy metal, 1980.
All right. Now we've got not a new wave of British heavy metal band, not really a first wave either. They kind of were the missing link. Motorhead, Ace of Spades, 1980. This is probably their signature album. Really, because their signature song. Anyway.
Everybody. If anybody knows anything about Motorhead, they know that album and that song. And
I've got the original release here on
Motorhead. We play rock and roll.
That's right. Bronze and Mercury, and I get the reissue on Earmark later.
Yeah, 180 gram. Yep, I have that one too.
And what's on here? Chase is better than the Catch. Love Me Like a Reptile. Live to Win. We Are the Road Crew.
Great. I love the live version.
Yeah. Ace of Spades is on here, of course. The Hammer.
I love Hammer Smith. Jelly, Bite the Bullet. Yeah, the Hammer.
And then we've got Ace of Spades Special Christmas Edition 12-inch with Dirty Love on the B-side. First Motorhead I ever owned. Little story on this one, and my buddy Chris Allenak, we grew up in the same neighborhood. I was grounded for something at my house. I was in my room, 2-story house, and I wanted this so bad. I hadn't even heard it, but I just knew I wanted it. And so I threw him down, the $10 that he needed to buy it for me. He went and bought it for me downtown, brought it back up, threw it up to my window. I put it on, and the rest was history. So I outsmarted my parents.
So hopefully they're not watching now, because they'll be doing disappointing you.
That's I made that out to look like a rock star.
Yeah.
But cool one. They're all dressed as Father Christmas, and Lemmy is, of course, he's got his digit.
I got a little story about this record too.
Go for it.
When I was going to get married in 1989, dating myself, I begged my fiance, my wife, to use "Love Me Like a Reptile" as our song to walk down the aisle to.
Oh my God!
She didn't go for it.
Yeah. Another one of our albums, the Flash Gordon album. I tried to get my late wife Michelle to let me use the Wedding March on that. She wouldn't go for that either.
I can't understand it. I mean, Love Me Like a Reptile. What a more perfect wedding song, right?
I mean, really, that's what you guys do. That's what you're known for.
Exactly. All right, next up.
All right, we are getting to the.
We're almost to the top 5.
Yep.
This is going to be an epic video. So,
Yeah, it is.
1980, like I said, great year. So this one, kind of new wave of British heavy metal. Definitely British. Definitely has that sound. Gillan.
Glory
Road. John McCoy on bass, who was an integral part of the band Gillan. Now this is way different from the Ian Gillan band or the Ian Gillan group, because that was kind of a jazz fusion rock thing going on.
I never got all those differences.
Yeah. Well, and Gillan, when you see this kind of Gillan logo, and Gillan the band featured John McCoy on bass and Bernie Tormé on guitar. That was the band, and they had that new wave of British heavy metal sound. I mean, this is just as heavy as anything Priest was releasing in this, in '80.
Okay.
So.
And Bernie Tormé was we just passed the 33rd anniversary of Randy Rhoads' death. Bernie Tormé was the first replacement for Randy Rhoads. He only did a couple of dates with Ozzy, but he was the first guy. If you have that HM photo book, that old Ozzy one, there's a shot of Bernie Tormé on stage with the Blizzard of Oz.
Yeah, he was the first one to replace him.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
This is the lineup that did Unchain Your Brain.
Yes, exactly.
Favorite Gillan song.
And then Mick Underwood was on drums too on this album, so terrible album cover. It's all right. It's got the big red Gillan logo on it. Band photo on the back, sort of. Kind of looks like the do-it-yourself new wave of British heavy metal covers, but it wasn't.
It works.
Yeah, it's Gillan. I loved it. Ian Gillan, one of my favorite vocalists of all times. Guy can scream, guy can sing, and he still can.
Yep.
Awesome. I kind of wish that Gillan would make a comeback, because I really like Gillan. But anyhow, 1980.
He's busy with Purple.
Yeah,
he's pushing
really purple
70
things. So there you go. Moving on. I think, are we out of the?
I'm out of what I had. What do you have down there?
Let's see. Okay. So we're still in the metal mode here, but this time we're going to be going a little outside of Europe and a little outside of Europe, a little outside of England.
Yeah. To Germany. Teutonic Terrors Accept with I'm a Rebel, and this was their sophomore album, right?
Yeah, I believe. So. Well, I don't know. I always mix up the first.
First one was Accept, the one with the chainsaw.
That's the second album. Yep.
Okay, yeah. And this has got, the title track is probably the most well known on here.
But it was like such a weird mix of releases into those first few Accept albums.
Yeah, so many of them came out with different covers
and names and U.S. version and German version and
the whole international thing. Just confused the issue a lot, but. Solid album, mainly hard rock. They hadn't really morphed into heavy metal.
They hadn't got that Restless and Wild sound yet, but there was some great songs there. Was it China White on there?
China Lady.
China Lady, that's it. China Lady, great song. What else is on there? The King, Do It.
Thunder
Lightning. I'm a Rebel. That's probably the most known song. And that.
And it's such a catchy song for them too.
Yeah.
I'm a rebel, don't you just know it?
I've heard several covers of that song as well. So. George Alexander. I'm trying to remember who wrote that song. Didn't that something to do with AC/DC? Could be wrong.
George Young.
I know, but
I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm fairly sure. I'm not 100% sure. Let me know if I'm wrong. But I'm fairly sure that I'm a Rebel was written by. It says George Alexander, but I'm pretty sure it was George Young
of the AC/DC production.
And AC/DC, and it was
Malcolm and Angus's brother, cousin, uncle.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But yeah, I mean, and they had solidified their lineup by this time too, though. And you got Peter Baldies on bass, still with Accept to this day. You got Wolf Hoffman on guitar, who was the main guy behind it.
George Fisher and Stefan Kaufman.
Yep, Stefan Kaufman, and then you've got, of course, Udo Dirkschneider on vocals. But his vocals, he didn't get that quite had that shrieky style yet. So
he still had long hair.
Yeah,
and it's a goofy cover. It's got the band upside down in a phone booth on a city street. It's goofy.
It's fun.
Yep.
All right, so KROKUS,
all the way from Switzerland.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about this one. It's AC/DC-ish in sound, definitely. I mean, it's
not quite as much as
Long Stick Goes Booming. Yeah,
One Vice at a Time.
Exactly.
I mean, when that came out, for Those About to Rock, it just come out. I was like, what? New AC/DC already? Last week, For Those About to Rock came out. What the hell? It doesn't sound anything like AC/DC to me now, but they definitely had that.
Wasn't this one that had the? Okay, I can't remember the songs are on this one on the top of my head. So we're gonna look real quick.
I think Heat Strokes is on there, which is one of my favorite KROKUS songs. Yeah, Heat Strokes is the opening.
Exactly. Yep. And then
Bedside Radio's on there. Is Burning Bones.
What's on here? No Way. Backseat Rock. Lady Double Dealer. That's the song I was trying to think of. Yep. Oh, it's not okay. I'm just gonna say this is not my favorite Krokus album, but it's a good.
Not your least favorite either.
Exactly. It's not wimpy. It's just solid. It's solid hard rock heavy metal. I don't think I would have heard it. I don't think back in 1980. I don't think a person alive would have said this wasn't heavy metal.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely it was heavier than anything else really at the time.
So, all right, Krokus Metal Rendezvous. I kind of like the cover too.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it's obviously
totally cool. It's totally
goofy
metal.
and cheesy, but
it works.
It works. Yep, it's metal. All right, so we're getting into our top 6, I believe.
All right.
We have our top 5, but we kind of did a, I mentioned a few names, but I tried to keep the top 5 to the ones I got the most votes for. If I had done my top 5, this would have, well, you guys know me, this would have been in my top 5. Ted Nugent, Scream Dream. So we're going to call this number 6.
Like other, just talking about the artwork for a second, I mean, I used to see this artwork, and the ones that really hit me were the AC/DC covers of the time, like Power Rage is real similar to this one. April Wine.
Yep.
The Molly
Nature of the
Hatchet
Beast,
covers,
right?
yeah, and the Blackfoot covers. This is another one, like 3 covers in a row. They're just super classic. Weekend Warriors, State of Shock, and this one.
The Scream Dream.
It just
really, this album just, this is
blistering.
Yeah,
it's so heavy.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's not a bad song in Flesh and Blood, Spit It Out, Terminus. Eldorado.
Their clothes been picking at your flesh and you got no control of the situation.
Like, okay, Ted.
Thank you. Of course, Wango Tango, which is still in Ted's sets today, and Scream Dream, and then Hard as Nails. I Gotta Move, Violent Love. Violent Love is
Don't
vicious.
cry, I'll be back for you, baby.
That's kind of Chuck Berry kind of.
Yeah, very.
Always had that Chuck Berry influence,
Yeah.
So, Ted Nugent, Scream Dream, 1980. This happens to be your Andy's cover copy.
Yeah, I've got an autograph one too, but I didn't want to take it off the wall. So just imagine this with yellow Ted Nugent on it.
And I've got the same one with a black Ted Nugent on it. So, but I'll show my Nugent collection eventually. All right, now we're into our top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5.
I'll do number 5.
Do number 5, and yeah. Hang on one second. Oh, almost dropped them.
Oh yeah, those go with this too.
Yep.
All right, we've got fresh out of Black Sabbath. Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz. We've got the American version.
And the European version. And the big difference in this, besides the logo, back cover photo.
Yeah, live shot here.
This is the Blizzard of Oz. This was supposed to be the Blizzard of Oz.
And I love this picture of Oz. He's got the horrible haircut. It's like Sharon just cut his bangs in the kitchen. And his shirt is kind of like half out of his pants.
I know his belly's all hanging
his belly
out.
button is
He's got his little, he does have his little Black Sabbath cross on.
Yeah, he does have his cross on.
But, I mean, if you've read anything about this band, these guys, all of these guys, other than Ozzy, were shocked when this record came out, and it said Ozzy Osbourne with the Blizzard of Oz as the name of the band, as the name of the album, because it was supposed to be the Blizzard of Oz was like the name of the band.
Supergroup,
yeah. Because you had all these guys except for Randy Rhoads. Randy Rhoads was an unknown, but you had
didn't matter.
Yeah, you had Bob Daisley,
Widowmaker.
Yeah.
Who else at the time? Had he been with Uriah Heep already?
I'm trying to remember.
I believe he was. And
Lee Kerslake was from Uriah Heep, right? And then of course, Ozzy was from Sabbath. Randy Rhoads was the new guy.
Quiet Riot, but Quiet Riot hadn't hit yet. So.
Yeah. Nobody knew him outside of California, really.
Or Japan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, Japan.
Big in Japan.
That's the only place where Scrap was released. But
killer.
Another game changer for heavy metal. I mean,
hell yeah, Crazy Train. I mean, that's a heavy metal anthem to this day.
Yep. I Don't Know, Mr. Crawley.
Goodbye to Romance.
Bilbo Movies.
Randy's little classical ode to his mom, Dee.
And then the very,
Solution.
Although I still can't understand why, controversial Suicide Solution.
It's not like Suicide's an answer. It's Suicide's solution, like a liquid solution, alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. And I've heard many stories about that song, but I read one of the several biographies on this album, and from what I understand, that the lyrics were actually written by Bob Daisley about
Bon Scott.
Well, he was actually writing it about Ozzy.
Oh, okay. I've heard both. I heard there was a nod to Bon Scott because he had just recently died.
And it was Bob Daisley had up on his site for a while about him writing the song, and he just basically thought Ozzy was killing himself drinking.
Yes, he was.
So yeah, I mean, but yeah, I've also heard AC/DC too, but same thing.
Yeah.
So
who knows?
Classic record, game changer, big time.
Right, that was number 5. Oh yeah, got a couple singles from that album. Got the Crazy Train single. B-side is You Looking at Me, Looking at You, which was non-LP for years until it came out on one of the remasters, I think. Great song. I mean, when I found this, I was at the Record Exchange in Walnut Creek, California, and I was totally into Randy Rhoads. I had just found a copy of Quiet Riot 2 through some magazine. It was probably bootleg, but I was total Randy Rhoads whore at this point. And I found this behind the counter of Record Exchange, which is no longer there. And there's this total heavy metal guru waiting on me. I said, hey, what's that Ozzy single up there, that Crazy Train single? He takes it down. I'm looking at it. Oh, what's this B-side? I've never heard of that. And he was pissed because he didn't know it was there. And I got it.
Right on. And this is the Mr. CROWLEY single.
Yep.
Evil.
With, at the time, non-album You Said It All, which came out on the live Mr. Crowley EP later.
And that was another one of those songs that was controversial. Again, it was, if I'm not mistaken, that song was written more as a warning than anything else.
He said something about, he had reference to being hung or something, being hanged.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Anyhow, Ozzy. And I should also mention that Steve, Harmless Rebel, picked that as his #1 album for 1980. So, Steve, thank you. So, next up, this is what, number 4, right?
Yes. Oh, 2 covers.
2 covers. Heaven and Hell.
By Black Sabbath.
You got
went on to be Heaven and Hell.
You got the first appearance of Ronnie James Dio with, you know, after getting sacked from Rainbow, you know, left one great band, went to a, I'm not going to say better band, but to a great band.
Oh yeah, he did. Sabbath and Ronnie did amazing things together. They created amazing metal music.
And for me, this easily could have been #1 pick for 1980.
Oh yeah.
There's not a bad song on here. I love this record.
Solid album. Children of the Sea, Neon Nights, the title track, Lady Evil. This is a European, this might be Czechoslovakia or something. I can't remember.
It's basically the back cover image.
Yeah, it's a back cover and it's in kind of like a copper and black.
It's really cool. I've never seen it before. So
that's like
that's out of Brandy's collection. And then it's the back cover of every other pressing you've ever seen.
This one's just got.
But I mean, yeah, Neon Nights, Walk Away, Heaven and Hell, Lady Evil, Die Young, Wishing Well.
Lonely is the Word. That's one of my favorites.
Children of the Sea.
Children of the Sea. That's killer.
Yeah,
that's just like epic.
I remember getting to finally see that Sabbath when they came out as Heaven and Hell or whatever they were touring as, and playing these songs. Oh my goodness, it was so awesome.
So I saw them the last 3 years before Ronnie died. I saw them once each year, and it was amazing. Never saw them with Dio. But seeing them with Dio and just doing Dio era material was so
great.
I didn't want to hear the Ozzy stuff done by
there's-
Dio. I wanted to hear the Dio stuff, and they did.
And they did great. And I actually became a fan of their other albums, like when they played
Dehumanizer?
I. Oh my goodness, man! When they played I was like in awe how heavy that song was, man. And I became more of a fan of that album after hearing it. So anyhow,
And then the final album, Devil You Know, that's heavy through and through.
number 4. All right, we argued about which 3 are going to be #1, and it was rough because these 3 all could be. Well, so could number 4.
Yeah, if we just took commercial success, this number 3 probably would have been #1. But we had to factor in the votes that Scott got when he did the Gallup
So
poll.
this was picked #1 by SMF Captain Howdy. AC/DC Back in Black.
Back in Black.
It's none more black.
None.
No more black.
Never. Well, except for Smell the Glove.
Well, Smell the Glove better.
That. Well, yeah, hell yeah. Nobody. I mean, that's the album that everybody aspires to make.
Exactly.
But there's not a bad song on this album. It's just, it's AC/DC, Brian Johnson, Bon Scott just died. They came roaring back. I mean, jeez. I mean, Highway to Hell was awesome, but then they outdid themselves, really.
Yeah.
And with a new singer, I mean, how often does it happen that a new singer comes in and the band
gets bigger?
Untold success. Yeah, usually it's just like they tank.
If I'm not mistaken, was this one of the biggest selling records of all time? I mean, it still is. I mean, millions and millions and millions of records. And I mean, you could release this right here, slap AC/DC logo, say greatest hits, and nobody knows the difference.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, how many times have you heard Hell's Bells at a concert?
Yeah.
And just like, I don't care who you're seeing, they'll play Hell's Bells at some point for some metal hard rock show, and it's like, it just is right.
Yeah. So do you think Metallica's Black Album was more black?
No.
Spinal Tap. All right, so number 3, AC/DC.
Don't get me started on Black Albums. I've got tons of them. All right, we are down to 2 and 1.
Okay, now we really argue because now I got an even number of votes for these 2 as well.
But if I voted for one of those, does it push it over at all? Because I'm voting for this one.
Really?
Oh yeah, totally.
Let's see. It could.
Should we do
Okay.
2-1 or should we do
No,
two
let's
at
do
the same
this one.
time?
We'll make this one. So we're changing our order right now.
Because my vote, what did it do?
Well, you know,
Turn the tide.
I picked this record as my number one too. So
So how many votes do we have for this one versus that one, do you think?
there's 4 votes for this one. Where's 3 for this one?
Wait a minute.
Because you got my vote on this one too.
But is my vote on that one make it 4?
Yep.
Then it's tied. We have to do them at the same time. We have a tie.
Yeah, we can't do a tie. All right, we'll do a tie, but we're going to show one at a time. So we got a tie for number 1. We'll just call it a tie. Both records are just, well, come on. Any of these could be at the top of number 1.
These should be tied because these bands to me are inextricably linked.
Yep. Iron
Iron
Maiden,
Maiden, self-titled first one.
first appearance of Eddie.
Not their biggest album, but probably aside from Def Leppard, who weren't really heavy metal to begin with.
No, they're a pop band. That's
Maiden
pop.
was definitely, hands down, after Leopard, the most successful.
I don't even know, they may be more successful than Leopard because they're still huge.
Because
Where you got-
Leopard's more
Leopard's now playing the
commercially viable. But
Indian casino circuit, and
really?
yeah, and
Maiden's
Maiden's
still-
still selling out at stadiums all over the world. So
It's a huge band.
this
huge.
record though, so heavy.
Yeah.
I remember
great
when I
stuff.
heard this come out the first time, I was just like, jaw hit the floor. Gotta say, this was not the first Iron Maiden album I heard. I
No,
actually
this
heard
is the
Killers.
last one I heard.
Killers was the first one I heard, and then I
First
went
one I
back
heard
to
was
this
Made
one.
in Japan.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, I mean,
And again, we were talking about like series of killer album art
yep,
covers. This is another one.
Derek Riggs.
Yep. When I first heard this one, I think Peace of Mind had just come out. And I had already heard Number of the Beast and Killers and Made in Japan. This is the last one in that era that I heard, and I heard Prowler. I'm like, oh my god, I love that song.
Yep.
What a great song.
That's on there. Charlotte the Harlot. Their
Charlotte Harlot, Remember Tomorrow, Run
their,
and Free,
their self-titled song. Iron Maiden's on there.
Phantom of the Opera,
Phantom of the Opera. And
Sanctuary, Transylvania. I mean, just the whole thing is classic.
Paul Di'Anno. He's got that real punky, edgy voice. Very different from Bruce Dick Dick. But
always preferred him to Bruce Dick myself. I mean, I might be calling you a dick twice, Bruce, but I love your voice.
I do too.
You're a perennial.
Oh, I love Bruce
perennial
Dickinson.
annual.
I like his solo stuff. I like everything Bruce has done pretty much.
Yeah.
I love the stuff he did in Samson too. So
metal singer. I mean, you are like, you soar up there, brother.
but for this album,
Paul Di'Anno,
I fit the bill.
I like his street voice.
Yep.
I mean, I always preferred Di'Anno to Bruce.
And I can understand why they got rid of him because, you know, it's not
went in a
as
different
commercially accepted, you know,
Yeah.
as Dickinson is. It's not as clean. He gives him that punky edge that I was
Yeah.
talking about earlier. And I know, yeah, you know, they'll fight you tooth and nail saying they never had a punk edge. There's
Oh,
no way.
They couldn't get away from that.
Yeah.
And you know, Dennis Stratton was also on this album together with Dave Murray for the double guitar attack, and he left after this one. He was also a member of. Memory's failing me. Was it Praying Mantis? No,
that's not right. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Whatever.
He went on to do other things.
Do you think we do this research before we did the video?
Some of this stuff we're just doing by the seat of our pants. and
It's all about his fans.
just that, oh my god, this stuff was 30 years ago when we really knew it.
Yeah, but I also need to say, Rob Whitlock of Ultimatum voted as this is one of his number 1 albums, and Metal Theologian Aaron also, you know, voted for this as one of his favorite albums for 1980s. So
Yep.
there you go. There's your 4 votes, including the 2 of us.
I didn't vote for this one.
Okay, you voted
I
for that
voted for the other one.
Okay. All right.
Because
This is number 1B. Or
Right.
number 1A, I don't know, whatever. This is a big change of style for a first wave of British heavy metal bands.
Judas Priest.
I mean, iconic record cover. I'm sick to death of Metal Gods. I'm not sorry, not Metal Gods. Of
Breaking the Law and Living After
Midnight.
Midnight.
Oh my goodness.
Living After Midnight was the second song I ever played live on stage, and it was a blast.
Yeah, and I do like those songs, but I mean, it's like, I don't care if I ever hear those. The radio just killed them, you know.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, a few years ago, they came through playing this whole record from beginning to end.
Pristine.
Every
it
single,
sounded
and I
so
even
good.
liked Living After Midnight, and the whole thing was great.
Yeah, when they're hearing it all together like that, and
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with this, but because when the remasters came out of this, Rapid Fire was the opener. And I don't know if I think that was the original running order of the album.
Might have been.
Maybe when the US ones came out, they put Breaking the Law on the top, and Living After Midnight was the top of
Because it became the single. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. But my favorite song in here, Steeler. I
Steeler's a
love
great
Steeler.
song. Mine, Don't Have to Be Old to Be Wise. I love that song.
Yeah, that's a great song.
But the deeper cuts, Rapid Fire,
Grinder.
Grinder, and
I think Testament
the
did a cover of the
Rage.
Grinder,
Oh my
right?
God, the Rage.
Ultimatum covered Steeler.
That's right. You guys
Yep.
did.
So yeah.
Great album.
So
Oh
we
my
got
God.
the top
These-
albums from 1980.
Yeah.
I can't-
Personally, I'm a
can't see
priest. I'm a priest man.
I can't see anybody really disagreeing with those
No.
as some of the top albums. Both of these, everybody followed this sound from here.
Yeah. I mean,
I
Priest.
do
we're
think
probably
that-
we've got a bit more of a refined sound.
I
with
think Priest
I
kind of. I'm going to say this it's going to sound kind of rude, but I think they dumbed down their sound a little bit on this one as
Think
opposed
so?
to the other albums. A little more
Yeah.
musical, a little more progressive than this one. Yeah, I mean they were
Well,
obviously going
right
for
before this was Hellbent for Leather, Killing Machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which was a lot more.
Yeah,
It was a little more technical.
technical. Yeah, so
Although we've got part 2 of Take on the
Take
World
On, yeah.
there with United.
United.
Those two songs kind of went together, but
but
Priest would always do that.
Regardless,
They
it's a
put
great
something
album.
else out that was a little bit more accessible, like Point of Entry or Turbo.
and they just looked badass too.
Yeah, Maiden in their heyday as well.
So anyhow, there you go.
Metal.
So that's it for Trog, and I'm Scott from NoLeftToMetal.com.
I
And
am long.
there is your 1980 list, and I know this is an epic video. I apologize it's so long, but I hope you enjoyed it anyhow. Go ahead and leave a comment below. If you liked it, thumbs up. If you didn't like it, thumbs down.
And visit my sites, please. Visit Stone Groove Records, Stone Grooves and Deep Cuts. We've got 2 shows every week featuring a lot of the music we talked about today, plus label bands from Stone Groove Records label.
There you go.
So we'll put all the info in the notes like we usually do, and check it out.
That's it. God bless. Stay strong.
See ya.